What is the face of a con artist?
First of all, we talk about body language. They have exaggerated smile, promises, they always agree with you, things like that. So anything that's too good to be true.
Hello and welcome to another episode of YanaTV. Today our guest is Christian Chua, who is leading motivational speaker in Singapore, a body language expert, and a face profiling expert. Christian, thank you so much for being with us. And when we talk about face profiling, it's like face reading. People think tarot cards reading, fortune telling. Is it this kind of face profiling?
Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a motivational speaker and I learn body language. So that helps me a lot in reading people. So this face profiling that you're talking about, it actually comes from a science of epigenetics. So it's not about tarot reading, it is not about fortune telling, but epigenetics says that there is such a thing called gene expression. So your thoughts, how you're indoctrinated, how you look at the world is manifested in the structure of your face, your bone structure, your muscles. And so a good guy looks like a good guy. Maybe a sad guy looks like a sad guy. A weary guy looks like a weary guy, and so on. So that's the school and the approach that I do.
Tell us a bit more about that. So it is scientifically based, clearly, and it's physiology based. How did you learn that?
So I started off as a body language expert. I've done dwelling it for more than 20 over years. I started body language because when I first saw a guy that walked in my office, something similar like this, I said, hey, that guy is like a little bit like a con man. But somehow he got the better of me. And then he spoke and I got taken in, and then he offered me a business deal. And let's just jump into it. I knew him for just an hour and I gave him $40,000. And after that, as you say, the rest is history. I got conned.
Oh my God.
So I went and said,
okay.
But there were signs. I said there were signs to tell me that his body language and all tells me that he wasn't a good guy. But we keep listening to this thing called don't judge people.
Yeah.
It's not right to judge people. But I want to say, and I want to say to the audience even, I think this is a God-given gift. Your intuition is a God-given gift for your survival.
The con artist, it's such, I didn't expect you to share this kind of story. What is the face of a con artist?
Okay, first of all, we talk about body language. They have exaggerated smile, promises, things like that. They always agree with you. So anything that's too good to be true.
Usually it's too good to be true.
Usually you need to qualify first. Be a bit skeptical, qualify it, and if you cannot qualify it, then it's too good to be true. So that's the first sign. But the sign on not say a con artist's face, but generally when I do lots of profiling on criminals, prisoners, things like that. Several common traits are they have very small mouth. So when you have larger mouth, you're more social, you're more talkative. But when you have smaller mouth, you tend to keep a lot of secrets. Okay, so then the eye, the sharp eye.
Okay, like a sharp corner.
Yeah, things like this. Okay, and sometimes the eyelids are like half closed, and there's a reason for it. But you see, in body language, you say anything that's open, we are more transparent, we're more open. That's why your eyes lid goes up, your palms goes up. I've got nothing to hide, as compared to I've got nothing to hide.
When was the latest assignment you were asked to do a profiling for a criminal?
Oh.
now you got me curious.
So I don't officially do profiling for criminals yet, but there are lots of police officers that come for my public workshop, and so I teach them how to look for criminals, and we use old footages, and I'll show them where and how they can actually spot.
So you do workshops about it?
I do.
Right. So we can also learn actually how to read the faces. Now you make me even more nervous. Anything about myself I need to know?
Okay, so the first thing I see, I love looking at the ears. The ears tells me a lot about you.
So they're open today.
Yeah, your ears are banded in this way. They are flat against the face. So you are not a person that like to rock the boat too much. If you can, you want to have harmony. Correct.
Yes, harmony.
You want harmony. but your inner helix is also sticking out, which means you have a lot of intuition. So maybe in the younger days you got conned, but these days you're a little bit more careful. You're going to start to trust you're beginning to trust your instinct a lot, and you have that feeling, the gut feel each time you meet someone, whether you like that person or not. So perhaps your selection of guests is also based on that.
So I'm like a natural person reader.
Yeah, that's correct. But maybe you did not learn the definitive, the pure definition of what each part means. But you have a natural
it's like a
intuition,
feeling.
right? That's what grandma always said, or mom said, hey, I don't quite like that guy you brought home. How do you know him now? I just got that feeling. It is just body language undefined for these people who did not go to a body language course or a face profiling course.
Not all of us went to the body language and profiling course yet with you. However, I'm just curious, could you give us a few tips? Let's say if I want to make sure that a boy I'm dating is going to be a good husband. So are there any characteristics for a good spouse?
And I don't want to commit to the answer, but I can tell you a few signs, of course, because during dating, everyone puts up a show, correct? And you're at your best. But what you can tell from a person, again, is like that few conman attitude and the behaviors. So it goes beyond just face profiling or body language. There's also things called speech analysis. So how they answer.
He's good. You're becoming more and more dangerous second by second.
Okay, so part of body language is called speech analysis. So for example, if you meet a guy and you say, are you married? A boyfriend. Are you married? The first thing you want to hear is that first response. Unlike a lawyer who just want to hear yes or no, a body language expert would like to hear the hesitation and how long he took to answer. You say, are you married? Not really. Not really. So a lawyer will say, no, I want to know yes or no. But that's no, he's already given you the answer.
Yeah.
Still lots of question marks. So that's what you want. If the person answers, no, I'm not. Like, why did you even ask me? So you know, okay, so the guy is generally not married. So that's some of the clues.
Okay, well, I like that. Another example. Okay, so let's say if I want to get a new job and I'm coming for the interview and maybe I see like a boss of the company, passing through the corridor and I'm on my way to the HR, but I saw face of the boss and I want to know if going to be a good boss for me or not. Like, is there any characteristics for a really good boss?
Sure, but the first thing I would like to do, and citing your example, I'll take the opportunity to greet the boss and see the reaction.
Okay.
Hello, sir,
how do you greet whatever, right?
Hi, sir, I'm here for the interview and see whether the person has a friendly disposition. Like, hi, nice to meet you, welcome. You already know his character is a very nice person. If the guy gives you a stern, I'll see you in the interview. Already.
You might be able to turn around and leave.
So towards a stranger, which is not even your hired employee yet, you're already so stern. So that's your natural character. Okay.
Interesting.
So the other things that you want to see on the bosses is like they have that assertive big jaw look, the typical.
Is it good or bad?
Okay.
Yeah, like,
so
is
very
it good?
assertive. Okay, so you look at the eyes, the eyelids. If there's a mono eyelids, that means it doesn't have a double eyelids. So he's a very left-brained person. If a person with massive double eyelids, high eyebrows, curved eyebrow, roundish face, they are more people-oriented. So if you work for such bosses, there's more welfare. If you work for a more squarish, boxy type of head, then they are more left-brained, they are more KPI focused.
I also heard that if people have like wrinkles exactly like in the middle or like a vertical, like one or two, like those are really tough. Like, is it true?
They are highly stressed people. So but I will rather look at the wing eye. The wing eye is very argumentative and very authoritative, and they want things their way. So if you go for a job interview and you see somebody wing eye, just agree with them and you get a job. So if you have your mind of your own, that's probably
not enough for you to do. I love that. I have a tricky question.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, but you're in a very tricky business. You know a lot about people just by looking at them, without them knowing, you know all those things about them. Right? So what about when to use it, when not to use it, how to use it? Is there like any borderline to this kind of art when we have such a good skill? So what do we do?
Yeah, funny how you ask, because it's like a knife, it's whether you want to use it to cut. See, in the earlier days, it was very easy. Everybody was fascinated. But right now, with this hypersensitive culture, even before you can finish half your speech, people are already getting worked up and they say, hey, you're racial profiling, you're discriminating, which is not the case, because there are many tools out there.
But there are a lot of tools, exactly.
Exactly, psychometric
profiling
tools,
exactly the same thing. Okay? Every HR would do that.
Correct. So it's just how you perceive and and I told them that these are information which I'm sharing with you. How you use it is up to your own prerogative. It's a tool that is available.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How long?
7 plus 22, 29 years. 29
okay,
years,
29 years. That's a long time. So I'm trying to guess, when you met your wife, did you know the body language and face profiling tools?
Not so much, but maybe the natural
Okay, so you had it. It's like a natural instinct.
Correct. Yeah.
So you didn't choose your partner based on a perfect face credentials. So it was more of a feeling.
Correct, yeah. Marriage is all about compatibility. So you can fall in love with a person's looks, but the looks will always go away.
So companionship, just curious, what do you feel is the secret to the long-lasting marriage?
In all relationships, whether in marriage or friendship, it can always go sour. It's so easy these days to just get into an argument. In the same way, you could woo a total stranger and people could just fall in love with you because you just made them laugh. Because it's a feel-good feeling. It's all the oxytocin and all the feel-good chemicals that comes out. And people will gravitate towards you because every time I go near you, you make me just feel so good.
Yeah.
So that's what husband and wife still should do to each other.
I love that. I loved it. You also said at the very beginning you're a motivational speaker.
That's correct.
So what is the difference between a motivational speaker and inspirational speaker? People often confuse those two.
So at least you know something about it. So inspirational speaker is what someone take a life story and they spend about 90% of the time on stage telling you about that story.
Okay.
And at the end, they will say, if I can, so can you. I pick myself up, so can you. So I hope you're inspired by my story. Not so many tools, not so many know-hows. But for motivational speakers, think like Anthony Robbins, they actually give you techniques. Do this protocol, do that. Think about this, do the self-talk method. So this is what motivational speakers are. Our main aim is to give you tools to do self-transformation.
So when you go on stages, you talk about the body language and the face profiling and the speech analysis. And the audience goes quiet because especially those that are in the front row, they're like, he's looking at us, don't look.
That's usually the case.
Right?
They refuse to have lunch with me.
Exactly.
Until I tell them I could teach them how to win in poker.
You see? So I knew there must be a hidden use to this skill.
So this is story. I'm against gambling. I don't gamble. I prescribe to my children not to gamble. But once I was provoked into a poker game, and because they say, if you are a body language expert, you don't be a coward.
Oh, this is a challenge.
I went in there within 45 minutes. I cleared everybody's money.
Serious?
And I returned them the money. And I said, this is practically like cheating. So anyway,
it is because you're equipped with the skills they don't have.
So they gave me a token sum and I donated it away.
Wow. But why was that so easy then? I guess when poker games are all about reading faces.
Right, because I keep watching for their body language and I don't have to catch them for every round. I just got to catch them, the slip up once.
The slip on once, exactly.
I'll empty them, So like one guy, he wanted to pass, but he hesitated and he came back. He bet half-heartedly and I knew he was just
It is fascinating. Any other story that perhaps happened maybe just recently in your just professional life around face reading or body language that you would like to share with me? Something you like.
Yeah, one of the guests on your show, I don't want to mention
Please
her
do
name.
not say the name.
She has asked me to help her select domestic helper. So that is a issue that a lot of Singaporeans maybe even have.
Next time when I need a new domestic helper, okay, I know who to talk to.
Right. So if I may elaborate the story, the 3 pictures were given to me. So I said the first one is a nice, friendly person, but not very sophisticated up there. So if you are happy to train the person and to tolerate the, you know what I mean, then that's okay. The second one is very sophisticated. So if you need someone highly intelligent to make decisions or use discretion, take that one.
Someone going to be running your household.
The third one is too pretty. So the way that she dresses and all this, perhaps the work itself will bore her to death. But so during her off day, she might be a little bit more adventurous.
Dude, this is fascinating. You know, I mean, I knew a little bit what we're going to talk about when we were preparing for this. So the questions I wanted you to ask, but I must say, you just blown me away with all of those things and made me think about all kinds of stuff. And I didn't realize that it's so versatile to use the skill.
And wow, I'm so glad because my core title these days I'm using is called Mind Shift, and it's like about
Mind Shift. Yes, this is exactly what happened.
So like what you say when I teach salespeople, just motivating them and saying you got to do more calls and all, that doesn't really last. You know, after a few days, it was like that was just a motivational talk. But if you teach them fascinating skills like how to read your customer, using body language, and say, oh my God, this is so exciting. So they have new tools, they get excited, the mind shifted, the motivational level goes up. So this is what I do. So
what your favorite type of clients?
People with a learning spirit. So I have met young people which are very open, and I've worked with billionaires who are very open, and yet I have also those people who think they know it all. So they are very, very skeptical, and they give you a very hard time. Incidentally, during training, I told them I don't need your feedback because you're already giving me feedback from your facial reaction. And so if you give me a feedback, I really know who gave to me, even if you put anonymous.
Oh, this is so funny. Thank you. Maybe the final question for today.
Sure.
Is there any differences between, let's say, like an Asian person or Caucasian person when it comes to face reading in terms of how easy or difficult it is to do? Okay,
so there are some defaults. That is where I got into a lot of trouble recently because I said, hey, there are certain defaults that we don't read. So for example, if we have single eyelids, I told you they are more left-brainer, and you got double eyelids, that you are more affectionate. But I say by default, the Koreans, the Japanese will have that.
Because that's the structure of the face.
Correct. And so for the Africans, they will have like thicker lips.
Yes, all the structure of the face.
Correct. So when I said that, then they say, hey, you're racial profiling. But I said, no, it's just like I need to teach you clinically. And in my workshop, I will do that. That is not a part that you take into consideration when you read. So when you do even like criminal profiling, certain things, the police will say, okay, because it's of this ethnicity, then certain factors will not be included in the profiling.
So you need to know what to include and what not to include. Thank you so much, Christian. That was great. But we would like to know from you guys, what is your experience? Have you ever had a facial profile reading? Would you like to have it? Are you familiar with the body language concept of itself? So please share with us in the comments. I would love to read it. Christian would love to read it. And we will answer it, give you feedback on those. And we also would love to thank Muse Studio to be our venue and videography partner and for hosting YanaTV. And for those who are watching us right now, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Share this video with friends. You can discuss, what our faces look like. You never know, that's a great dinner table conversation. And I'm going to see you next time with another guest.
You sound nervous?
I am, because you're looking at my face and I'm nervous. What are you seeing?